Now, just to clarify, I'm a new fan. I saw the trailer for the game and I thought, hey, that looks pretty freaking cool. Wanna play that? So, a few months ago, I started playing the older games, or at least a version of them. I played Sigma 1 and Black 2 with some optimism cause I've heard that these games are quite hard. But you know what? I've played plenty of hack and slash in my days. I've got experience with these things. It can't be that bad.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
I was playing on normal. And you know what? Kinda like it. Unlike Souls games, these games are fast. And with all the shit you can do, despite me getting my ass whooped, I still feel cool doing it. And yes, I know, I've heard that those versions of the games are easier than the OG version, which I've never played. I don't have an Xbox. So keep that in mind, cause I probably don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I still want to talk about it, cause I like them. With that being said, this game, the fourth one, could be the Ninja Gaiden game for me. For start, I've been waiting for more sci-fi themed combo style hack and slash. And the last one I could remember was Metal Gear Rising, which was made by the same guys, Platinum Games. And that was one of my favorite games of all time. So, seeing Platinum Games making the fourth Ninja Gaiden, and it having a more sci-fi cyberpunk theme to it, oh yeah. I mean, look at that. Even the game forces the camera to look at that twice. They seem to be pretty proud of that. You know what? Fair. That goes for a lot of the levels too. They look good. Very scenic. And the yellow paint kinda ruins it. I mean, to an extent, I get it. Kinda. I've watched enough people play all kinds of games to make me realize.
You're the reason why the devs put bright yellow paint on everything. No, it's because the contrast of the new graphics made having the arrows be a lighter color be distracting, and they changed the contrast.
But then again, this game has a dedicated button to guide you on where to go. So, I don't think we need these paints. Besides that though, visuals are great, no other complaint. Well, maybe the 30 FPS pre-rendered cutscenes, but I don't know if that's the reason on why the game is like 50 gigs considering Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is like 80. And we live in an era of 100 plus gig games, so this is nice. But still, would be cool to see the Chimera skin in cutscenes, but anyway. I want to talk about the meat and potatoes of the game, which is of course, the gameplay. And as a newcomer, it does feels like the previous two I've played, though I gotta switch to control type 3 cause that's the one I got accustomed with. But yeah, the moment I played it, everything seems familiar with an exception of a few like on landing UT, absorbing essence to charge up UT, Izuna drop, and flying swallow being a skill you unlock instead of skill you've learned from the get-go, like in Ninja Gaiden 2. Which I guess makes sense since from what I remember in Ninja Gaiden 1, some of those skills you need to learn first, and since this is the first time you play as Yakumo, maybe he never learned those skills before. And speaking of the boy, Yakumo, the new guy in town, a cool young ninja with an attitude.
Fuck off.
You know what? I was expecting myself to not like him, but after beating the game, he kinda grew on me. Now don't get me wrong, he ain't him. He can never be him, but he don't have to. And his gameplay does play a huge part in me starting to like him. It's the closest we'll get to a DMC type character in this game, with his multiple weapons that can be changed with the press of a button. And the way he does it here, I kinda prefer, or at least my smooth brain prefer. Cause instead of having to scroll between weapons like in DMC, which I struggle with, this one you just have to press the D-pad. which is really easy. You got the dual blade, rapier, staff, and some kind of gizmo that can transform into a bunch of things. All these weapons seem to have their own speciality, I guess, at least from my own experience. The rapier is good for chasing, dodging enemies and 1v1s. The staff is good for crowd control. The gizmo is good for range, and the dual blade is kinda like an all-rounder. And the new thing they introduced to this game is the ability to transform your weapons into a more powerful version of them called Blood-Raven form. And I like the fact that each weapon have their own gimmick to bring out the most damage out of them. The blade, you have to hold the button at the beginning of the attack. The drill, you have to hold the button at the end. The hammer and the gizmo at the right time. It does make things a bit complicated when you're constantly switching between weapons, but the visual you get when you hit it, especially with the hammer, just feels nice. And even with all that, they also give you a berserk, which if you hit an enemy with those Blood-Raven form gimmicks, with the exception of bosses, they die instantly. And then, if you press the berserk button again, you do an ult that does massive damage to a wide area. In addition to those, they also give you 3 ways to counter: perfect dodge, perfect block, and parry. This game is giving you everything to just be an absolutely powerful fucking maniac on a stick. I am going to obliterate
Is that right, Father? Father God, please! Oh God! Almighty God! I'm asking you!
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Stop! You are no talent! Who's the fucking you?
I was playing on normal. Though, I actually think this game is still easier than the first one. Just from the fact that you can retry boss fight right from the beginning of the fight, instead of having to respawn from a checkpoint and having to skip the cutscenes every time you die. And also the checkpoint in this game heals you. But those only make the games easier to a point. The game gets even easier as you, the player, play more, as you progress, as you get more upgrades, as you actually learn how to play the game, as you get good, and especially once you get to play as Ryu Hayabusa. Just something about him. He's so dreamy, so cool, so basic. Right, let's talk about him then. Of course, the main man is here. He looks as great as ever, after all these years, complete with his glorious high-tech gimsuit. And a new voice. I guess 13 years does wonders to your voice, from it sounding like Troy Baker
The hostages are in the Prime Minister's residence, right?
to Mike Stout.
Sealing the dragon was our only choice.
But I love my guy nonetheless. Though, I don't know if the people at Team Ninja or Platinum Games share the same sentiment. They said that they want to shift to a different protagonist cause Ryu don't show much emotion and is a complete ninja. You know who else doesn't show much emotion and a complete version of what they are? Gordon Freeman, Master Chief, Samus, shit, Joe Musashi, a fellow complete ninja, and people still love having them as the main protagonist. I don't buy it. Look, I get it. The Japanese audience prefer to play as a twink rather than a hunk. But you don't get to sideline him like this. Throughout the main story, he only got like 4 chapters dedicated to him out of 19. And they're just a rehashed version of Yakumo's chapters. Yes, once you beat the game, you can replay all the chapters as him, which is great, love that. But then they said that he is a complete ninja, while giving us a bare bones version of him with only one weapon, which is his dragon sword and his 4 ninpos. Though, granted, in place of Yakumo's Blood-Raven form, he got Clean form, which functions the same way as its counterparts. So summon. But then, they gave Yakumo a fifth weapon, the Dark Dragon Blade, the same sword from the first game that Ryu destroyed, and now reformed, to kill the Dark Dragon. And guess what? It has the same moveset as the Dragon Sword, Ryu's only weapon in this game. Why? I was expecting it to have a similar moveset as the Debileru, or just something unique, not just the Dragon Sword. Not only was it a missed opportunity, it also just straight up stole Ryu's whole flow. The only thing unique to him now are his ninpos, which are really good to be fair. And he also supposedly deal more damage than Yakumo, which I don't know for sure. I wanna believe it, cause it does feel like he kills enemy faster, but I don't know. Hoping the DLC will give him a more identity. Maybe in addition to a new weapon, also give him his old weapons. His bow? His dual swords? Maybe? I miss my spin! But hey, look. I don't mind having Yakumo as a main protagonist from this point on. I just want Ryu to get more of the spotlight than he did in this game. I mean, DMC did it. In fact, this whole game's flow is literally just DMC 4. It's the fourth entry of the series. They sideline the main guy to introduce the brand new guy. You play as the new guy for the majority of the game, and then the main guy in the second half, just replaying the previous levels and bosses. And then you fight the main guy twice. Can't wait for the fifth game to introduce a new guy named G and a new big bad Fiend at the same time, just for them to turns out to be Genshin resurrected and split into two beings. But not only that, it turns out Yakumo is Genshin's son, and at the end, amidst his dead issue, Yakumo finally unlocked his Devil Trigger. I'll still play it though. Bonus point if they make Genshin sit on a plastic chair. Oh, I wanna talk about the ranking system as well. Much like the previous games, this one will rank your performance at the end of the chapter. But this game has some differences in how it ranks your performance. The previous games would rank you based on your skills, essence, ninpo, and clear time. While this game also rank you based on kills and clear time, they replace ninpo and essence with technique, item use, and deaths. With the removal of ninpo as a rank decider, it kinda gives me a mixed feelings. On one hand, I think ninpos are cool, and being able to use them more freely is kinda nice. On the other, it's kinda cheesy and goes against the late Itagaki's design of discouraging players from abusing it. Although, they compensate that by rating your item use and death, unlike the previous games. The more item you use and the amount of times you die will reduce the score quite a bit. This method of ranking enables players to abuse ninpos more, but Itagaki's method seems to enable players to abuse items and not have to worry about dying more. With that being said though, this game punishes you for using items, right? But in comparison to the previous games, this game got a variety of consumable items to help your fights. Why give us all this stuff if you don't want us to use them? At all. At least in the previous games, while they discourage you from using ninpos, they don't completely punish you from using it. I mean, they give you 4 of them. They want you to use it but not abuse it by giving you items to replenish your ninpos, a limited amount of them, so you can still use the ninpos throughout the chapter when you really need it, and by the end, use the items to recharge and get full ninpo points. They don't fully discourage you from using ninpos. In this one, the moment you use any of the consumables, you can never get a full score, completely discouraging you from using any of the items. I mean, realistically, most players will probably only use these. Maybe these if they're really struggling. But all these? I guess it's for people who don't really care about ranks, I don't know. But then also, since we now know the game would reduce your score for being a scrub, why does the score also reward you for spamming the most busted move in the game? If you look at right here, you can see Ultimate Technique will give you a fuckload of point. The most point in fact. Ultimate Technique, or UT, is a staple to the series where you charge up an attack that if it hits, would launch a flurry of attacks while you can gain instant charge by absorbing an essence. And you can skip the charging animation by timing it right as you are landing from a jump, which is easier than it sounds. Well, this is Ninja Gaiden after all, a game series that's notoriously challenging. It can't be that easy. Yes. Do I deserve this? No. Just the difficulty set normal and I used a bunch of items and I died once. Yeah. Am I proud of myself? Yeah. For a ranking system, eh? Okay, so I still got a few things I want to mention, but I don't know on how to incorporate it naturally into any of the main subjects, and also they feel more like nitpicks, both good and bad. So I'm just gonna do a quickie here. And Tyrant, fuck is he doing really? I mean, yeah, he teach you skills, but can it just be bundled with Umi's store? Feels kinda unnecessary. And the argument for immersion kinda thrown out the window when Ryu fucking Hayabusa can just kick open a box and magically learn how to block 9 attacks in a row. Also him still learning new skills. Yeah, complete ninja my ass. Hey, the iconic Ninja Gaiden music is here. Unbreakable Determination, finally in a 3D Ninja Gaiden game. Was hoping for it to be played during Ryu's boss fights, but I'll take this. Besides, having it played during his last chapter before passing us back to Yakumo, and the whole game's last chapter where we spar with him as equals, kinda cool. Boss select, man, the feature I wish all action games with boss fights will have. It's so nice to just be able to fight a specific boss without having to go through a whole level or a boss rush. I remember popping back MGR every now and then just to replay the Armstrong boss fight. I'm glad the feature is back here. Traversal was nice. Wish they were a bit more challenging, but still nice. Rail grind's cool. This is kinda funny. Gizmo on Ryu's scabbard lowers it. Actually allows him to sheath and unsheath his sword realistically. All those YouTube videos about swords on back being impossible can now eat his ass. These lanterns can eat my ass. And the game feels blue. Right, that's it. I know I complained a lot, but I genuinely really like this game. I've been recommended a bunch of videos of people either liking it or disliking it. And, as I've said in the beginning, I'm a newcomer. Holmes played the version of the old games that many seems to deem inferior, and yet ended up liking them anyway. So, to repeat myself, I probably don't know what I'm talking about. I just talk about the game cause I like it. And hey, if you're a true Gaiden head, tell me what you think about the game down in the comments below and increase the engagement of this video. 5 million likes and I don't know. Bye.